Hello, and welcome to today's live reading of Fortune's Favorite by C.L. Schneider, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Prologue, Jarryd Kane. Steel divided leather, cloth, then flesh. Red welled and spread across Ian's sleeve, drawing a hiss from his clenched teeth. Torn between regret and satisfaction, I stumbled back as he drew his sword. Walk away, I told him. Don't make me do this. His white eyes narrowed into an icy glare. I'm not making you do anything. You want to hurt me, Jarryd. That's your choice. But you're not making the most rational decisions right now, and every damn one of them has come with a cost. A cost I paid, not you. Well, I'm damn sure paying it now. Do you think this is easy for me? Do you think any of this has been easy? I think Ian inched closer, throwing away half your fears screwed with your judgment. Closer. Distorted your perception and instinct. Closer. Clouded your common sense. It made you vulnerable, Jarryd. Selfish. Reckless. Brave beyond good measure. Perfect for their needs. I was in range of his sword. With barely a flick of his wrist, Ian could strike me down. But he won't. He can't. Sorrow lurked beneath the anger in his eyes. He didn't want to hurt me any more than I wanted to hurt him. If there was only another way. There isn't. I stood my ground. I know what I'm doing. Bullshit. You walked right into their trap. Don't talk to me like I'm a child, Ian. You're not my father. No, he said quietly. I'm your friend, at least. He glanced at the pair of Kalish long knives I held tight in my grip. I thought I was, but that damn bottle, this place, they've changed you. They've changed everything. If you think I'm going to let you give up your life for, that's right, it's my life. You know it's not that simple, Neftali. It hasn't been for a long time. Refusing to let his sentimental tone distract me, I raised the blade between us. I don't want to fight you, but I need to see this through. If you understood what was at stake, if you knew, then tell me. Make me understand. It's more than you can imagine, and I'm so close, Ian. So close. Whatever they've promised can't be worth the cost. If it's even real, you can't trust these bastards. Not with what they've done, with what they're doing to these people, to us. God damn it, I can fix it all. My outburst gave Ian pause, his blade lowered. Fix what? All of it, I said. None of it needs to happen. I can make things better. For you, Ian. For me. For all Miracalan. This doesn't have to be your life, your past, everything that haunts you, everything you've done can all go away. You're not making any sense. Then stop trying to understand and go, please. I can't. He dropped his head, shaking it. Providence is a lie. Maybe, but if I forfeit now, if I don't do this, it's all been for nothing. Those are the rules. Magic shaded his eyes, dark as night. Fuck the rules. 2 days earlier. Chapter 1. Ian Troy. A twitch ran across my shoulder blades as I stood on the deck, taking in the view. I told myself the ominous sensation was nothing but the breeze. Visually, the place was a natural wonder, a feast for the eyes. What land I could see from here, at least. Much of it, even the city, was hidden on the far side of soaring bluffs and untamed jungle, giving it an air of mystery, one that put my instincts on high alert, one I could have done without. The port of Maldarehm wasn't at all what I pictured. Not that I knew what a haven for pirates should look like. The pier was certainly impressive, bigger than any in Miracalan, with sturdy wooden slips filling a large horseshoe-shaped bay. A variety of sailing vessels rocked alongside us in waves as blue as uncut azurite. Their construction bore enough design differences from mine to make it apparent we were far from home, as did the appearance of the men and women bustling about the well-appointed wharf. Dock workers, sailors, fishermen, travelers, roaming merchants, and local customers. Their clothing was distinctive, vibrant, and colorful, their accents mesmerizing. Some chattered in languages I'd never heard before. Even the terrain was diverse. Towering sea stacks rose from the shallow water offshore. Intricate rocky formations and arches decorated a winding beach edged in jungle and thrown into shadow by sharply rising cliffs. The mouth of a high tunnel broke the center of the bay's open arms. The sea flowed gently through the passage and exited behind the bluffs not far from the city's main entrance. Enormous sculpted figures occupied the outer walls of the tunnel, one on each side, their bodies stretched up into the sky, past the edge of the bald incline, at least 1,000 feet in height. Time and weather had eroded their details, turning the pair into featureless sentries with long, windswept hair and flowing robes. The crumbling form of a giant serpent coiled around each, giving the graceful figures an intimidating air. Age had done nothing to diminish the craftsmanship or the striking spectacle of what the harbor master reverently referred to as the twin. Their position wasn't accidental. The ferry was the direct and most popular way to reach the city. It ran through the tunnel dozens of times a day, carrying passengers underneath the statues. Under their watch, the man called it, with the same respectful tone as before. His voice and the unfamiliar sign he drew in the air implied the statues represented religious figures. When I asked for confirmation, he said only, "All who pass below are seen and judged. If you're found worthy, luck shines upon you like the morning sun. And if you're not, misfortune befalls the undeserving," he replied. "Would that be you?" "Depends on what makes one undeserving." "That's for the twins to decide." For those not interested in being judged, a road branched off on the left side of the docks to circumvent the cliffs, hugging the shadowy shoreline and meandering out of view. The harbor master explained the narrow trail added hours to the trip, making it a less attractive option for those eager to reach the comforts of civilization. Glimpses of other peaks and far-off structures were visible between the bluffs. Several buildings towered higher than the rest, with turrets silhouetted by the sun. I assumed at least one belonged to royalty, perhaps the pirate king. I had no idea who ruled the land or what the internal politics might be. The harbor master was less forthcoming with information once he realized where we were from. Even less when I told him I was the ship's owner, not a slave sent to gather information for his master. Not that I expected word of my people's freedom to reach this far, but I didn't care for the abrupt, mistrustful change in his demeanor. "It doesn't matter. One night off ship and we'll be back on course." And the natural splendor helps to offset the man's prejudice. The stunning rock formations intrigued me. The beach, white as my hair, reminded me more of snow than grains of sand. Stretches of jungle flowed out between the slopes, teasing the presence of lush, vibrant wildlands waiting to be explored. Warm air, clear sky, and a plethora of seabirds circling lazily overhead were all a welcome change after days of rain. Trade was robust here, and the supplies plentiful. If the many crates and barrels lining the docks were any indication, no soldiers or magistrate officers were present. Yet there was a clear evidence of a previous conflict of war. A significant number of workers were disfigured or maimed, missing limbs, or bearing noticeable scars. Despite the people's misfortune, there was an undeniable sense of camaraderie between the locals and visiting merchants. Smiles and easy laughs were traded without a second thought, suggesting the land was at peace now. The scenery and atmosphere should have been enough for me. Yet I couldn't lose myself in the sights for more than a moment. My muscles were tense, my pulse fast. There was something off about this place, something unsettling. A sense of darkness, a strangeness I couldn't place, vibrated off the land. The abundance of over-the-top pleasantries we received upon arrival were contrasted by other odd looks. Occasional hard stares followed me across the deck, scrutinizing my every move. Only when I turned to face them head on and acknowledge their prying eyes did they scurry away. I was accustomed to being the subject of gaping and glaring. White hair and eyes, or distinctive traits of my kind. The magic scars decorating my body were an oddity as well, though it was doubtful many Shinri had sailed so far as to grace these shores. The stories of our deeds traveled where we didn't. It was surprising. Our magic was at the center of every defining moment that shaped Merclan's violent history. 1,000 years of rumors and lies, truth I wasn't proud of, preceded my arrival. If I was them, I'd be leery of me too. Aside from the usual curiosity and fear were other looks I couldn't explain, such as unabashed warning. The cautionary glances aimed in my direction were furtive and brief, but unmistakable. In trying to communicate what they didn't dare put into words, one thing was plain. They were afraid, but not of me. They were afraid for me. They were also in the minority. Far more were ogling me with a giddy sense of awe, almost to the point of veneration. Their reaction was unnerving as hell and made me wonder what kind of welcome awaited me in the city, especially after our fateful encounter with the inhabitants of the Wandering Isles. Those events were many weeks behind us, yet still painfully fresh in my mind. So much the notion to pull up anchor and leave was stirring in my head when Jarryd Kane climbed up from below deck. He approached me at the rail, distracted by taming his long brown hair into a braid. Removing the leather tie from his mouth, he wrapped it around the end, then faced me. Hands on his hips, Jarryd sized me up with a silent, disapproving squint. It was a more intimidating look than it used to be since he stopped shaving. I didn't like it at first, but the beard had grown on me. It was one of the many small changes in him since we left the Isle. Irritated by his continued scrutiny, I barked, "What?" "You look," Jarryd considered his words a moment more, "paranoid." "You mean cautious?" "No, I meant what I said. If we opened the link between us, you'd feel the difference." "No need. With you, Ian?" Jarryd put an arm around my shoulders. "There is no difference." He chuckled and stepped aside with a friendly parting slap on my back. I let it go. His mood was chipper, his jest was good-natured, and while I wasn't happy with how often Jarryd closed himself off from our link, I didn't begrudge him privacy. Since the day I bound our souls together, we'd each gone through phases of needing seclusion from the other. Yet more and more, I kept my side of the magical link between us open. I found the sharing of emotions and exchange of memories comforting, particularly after long absences. Lately, Jarryd preferred the absences. "We should hurry," he said. "I don't want to miss the next ferry." Jarryd spotted my bare feet, and the eagerness drained from his voice. "Where's your boots? Your pack?" He glanced around the deck, giving up his search with a frown. "This city is huge. It'll take us all day to get through it. I don't want to miss a single street. Or the ferry," he reminded me. "I'm not taking the ferry." "What? Why not?" "Let me guess. Too many people?" "Ian, they're fine," Jarryd went on before I could reply. "Look how friendly everyone is." He threw a sweeping gesture out at the dock. "The city sounds incredible, and you need to get off this ship." "So does Kira, which is why I'm taking the road." Jarryd craned his neck, searching. "I can't even see the road." "To the left," I directed him. "If you'd been listening to the harbor master instead of making eyes with that shifty pirate captain." "Shifty?" he laughed. "You're just mad because she didn't look twice at you. Guess the coin is finally flipped, my friend. It was only a matter of time before we sailed far enough to find a land where not every woman in sight swoons at your brooding stare." "I think it's the beard." Jarryd stroked the fine hairs on his chin. "Maybe that's what worked for Malek. Malek Rourke could talk a devout monk out of his robe." "God, stop. Don't make me picture that," Jarryd begged, grimacing at the thought of our old friend in such a compromising position. "At least if Malak was here, you'd be wasting your breath lecturing him and not me." "I'm not lecturing you. I'm advising you to be wary of whose company you keep, particularly in a place like this and with a woman like that." "A woman like what? You mean gorgeous?" "Stop being judgmental. Not all pirates are unscrupulous cutthroats." "I think that's their definition. And what about the blood her crew is washing off the deck? Could be fish blood or not even blood at all." "Damn it, Jarryd, I know what blood looks like." He grimaced, glancing behind me at the docks. "Maybe you shouldn't announce that so loudly. It might attract the wrong kind of attention." "I'm sure it's too late for that," I muttered. "The point is, how often have I been undone by a pretty face?" "Way more than you should admit." "Exactly, which is why I recognize the signs." "Look, Ian, I get it. What happened on the Isles was hard on both of us. And in the isolation of weeks on open sea. I like the open sea." He frowned. "You're imagining enemies that aren't there, which is why you need to come with me and see the city. Eat food you shouldn't, drink more than you should, buy trinkets you don't need. It's been a long time since we've had an opportunity like this. Enjoy yourself." I plan to, with a nice long ride. "There's room for Kira on the ferry. Stable her tonight and bring her for a ride in the morning. And just so we're clear, I heard the harbor master mention the road. He said no one takes it. Maybe there's a reason for that. It's inconvenient. It takes hours to go around the cliffs. Hours? He groaned. Here is a horse, Jarryd, not a fish. She needs this. He rubbed an exasperated hand over his face. Do whatever you want, but don't be surprised if I'm drunk when you get there. He turned to leave, then pivoted back. You're going armed, aren't you? So are you. We don't know these people, Naphtali. Being able to defend yourself in a strange place is smart, not paranoid. Bring your knives. You're right, Jarryd relented, backing away. I'll scope out the city and learn my way around and find some stores where we can resupply. Then I'll head to that place Krylos mentioned. We can meet there, relax with a hot meal and a few drinks, a round of dice, a bath, some company that looks and smells better than us. In the morning, we'll load up on provision. I hope they take Relin coin, Krylos said. Krylos hadn't been here in 20 years. I doubt half the places he told you about exist anymore. Why don't we meet at the stables instead? Wow, that's exciting. I'm not looking for excitement. I want to eat my dinner in peace in a quiet inn with a few mugs of ale, followed by a night in a soft bed that doesn't sway. Pirates don't hang out at quiet inns. I am aware. Go ahead, then, act like a cranky old man and waste our first chance for a night of fun since we left home. If you change your mind, you know where I'll be. Krylos said it's the largest building in the city, most popular too. Follow the crowd, and you can't miss it. Jarryd turned away. Thoughts of him spending the evening alone in a nefarious gambling house in a city full of drunken pirates crossed my mind, and I yielded. Fine. What's it called? He glanced back with a victorious grin. Providence.